When news broke that Tiny had officially filed for divorce from T.I., the hip-hop world went into shock. For years, they were seen as the ride-or-die couple who survived every storm from cheating scandals to family drama. But this time, it's different. The breaking point wasn't another woman, money issues, or fame. It was their own son, King Harris. After King's recent arrest went viral, T.I. reportedly disowned him, saying he'd brought shame to the family name. And that one move, that one public humiliation, seems to have been the final straw for Tiny. Insiders claim that Tiny was heartbroken seeing T.I. distance himself from their child instead of helping him. She allegedly told close friends that she couldn't recognize the man she married any more, that fame and pride had changed him into someone cold, controlling, and disconnected from his own blood. And behind closed doors, the tension was explosive. Arguments, slammed doors, silent dinners, all leading up to Tiny walking out with tears in her eyes and papers in her hand. But what really triggered this sudden split? Was it truly about King's arrest? Or is there something much deeper brewing behind the scenes? As family members pick sides and fans demand answers, this isn't just a story about a divorce. It's a story about loyalty, pride, and how one family's empire might be collapsing from within. The tension between T.I. and Tiny had been simmering for months, though most of the public didn't notice. On the surface, the couple appeared to maintain a united front, attending events together, posting family photos, and speaking about their commitment in interviews. But behind closed doors, the narrative was far from perfect. Sources close to the family say that the arrest of their eldest son, King Harris, acted as a catalyst for years of bottled-up frustration and resentment. King's arrest was no minor incident, allegedly caught up in a situation that escalated quickly. The viral footage painted a picture that no parent would want to see of their child. But what shocked everyone even more was T.I.'s reaction. Instead of offering support or guidance, he publicly distanced himself from King, reportedly labeling his actions as unacceptable and stating that the consequences were solely on him. Family insiders revealed that Tiny was left reeling, heartbroken by what she considered her husband's harsh approach. To her, a father's job was to guide, protect, and correct, not publicly shame. Within weeks of the arrest, arguments between T.I. and Tiny intensified. Sources describe scenes of yelling, doors slamming, and tense, silent meals where the atmosphere was thick with resentment. Tiny, who had always been seen as the glue holding the family together, reportedly felt increasingly isolated. Friends close to her say she confided that she didn't recognize the man she had married, a man who, in her eyes, had become cold, distant, and obsessed with public image over family loyalty. The divorce filing shocked fans not only because of the timing, but also because of the circumstances. Tiny reportedly hired legal counsel immediately after King's incident, ensuring that the divorce papers were filed discreetly to avoid a media frenzy. Sources claim she wanted to protect her children from further embarrassment while simultaneously asserting her independence. Those close to her say Tiny has always been someone who values integrity and loyalty above all else, and T.I.'s disowning of King crossed a line she could not ignore. Beyond King, there were whispers of additional tensions that had been quietly growing over the years. Financial disagreements, creative differences, and T.I.'s alleged controlling tendencies had placed strains on their marriage. Though they had weathered numerous public storms, including past infidelities and social media scandals, this situation with their son appeared to be the breaking point for Tiny. This wasn't just about a single incident. It was a pattern of behavior that made her question her future, with T.I. family and friends reportedly tried to mediate, urging both sides to find a solution that could prevent a public fallout. Some insiders suggest that T.I., despite his stern public stance, privately expressed regret over his harsh reaction to King's arrest. But by then, the trust between him and Tiny had been eroded. Tiny reportedly feared that any reconciliation would only be temporary, and that the cycle of tension and public judgment would continue, leaving her no choice but to take decisive action. The divorce filing itself was strategic. Tiny reportedly sought joint custody of their children, financial stability, and protection of her personal assets. Legal sources indicate that she aimed to create a clear separation that would allow her to move forward without constant interference from T.I. or media scrutiny. Her attorneys allegedly emphasized that the situation with King's arrest would play a role in custody discussions, highlighting the importance of a supportive, nurturing environment for their children. Fans immediately took to social media, speculating on the reasons behind the split. Some blamed T.I., criticizing him for his alleged lack of empathy toward his son. Others questioned King's behavior, suggesting that parental support can only go so far when children make repeated mistakes. Amid the online debate, one thing became clear. This was not just another celebrity divorce. The emotional stakes were high, the family dynamics complex, and the public's fascination only amplified the tension. Meanwhile, friends close to Tiny say she is determined to remain composed publicly, despite the emotional turmoil she is reportedly facing privately. She has been documenting her own thoughts, seeking therapy, and leaning on a tight circle of trusted confidants. In contrast, T.I. has remained relatively quiet, issuing short statements about personal accountability and family responsibility. Observers note that this silence has only fueled speculation about his true feelings and intentions. As part one of this story unfolds, the focus remains on understanding how a single incident, King Harry's arrest, could trigger a cascade of events leading to divorce. It highlights the fragile nature of fame, family, and loyalty, and how public actions often have profound private consequences. Tiny's decision to file for divorce appears to be more than just a reaction to anger or frustration. It is a calculated step toward reclaiming control over her life and protecting her children from further emotional harm. The coming months are expected to be challenging. Legal proceedings, custody arrangements, and media scrutiny will dominate both T.I. and Tiny's lives. The emotional fallout may affect not just their immediate family, but also their extended network, friends and associates who are caught in the crossfire. What started as a personal family crisis is now a story that has captivated public attention, raising questions about parenting, accountability, and the limits of loyalty within high-profile families. As fans and insiders continue to watch closely, one thing remains certain. Tiny's move is a bold statement, signaling that she will no longer tolerate actions that compromise her values or the well-being of her children. While the path ahead is uncertain, her decision underscores the complexities of balancing family, fame, and personal principles in the public eye. The ripple effects of King Harry's arrest reached far beyond the immediate family. Friends, associates, and even fans weighed in, trying to understand why T.I. chose to distance himself so sharply from his own son. The public narrative painted T.I. as a father who prioritized image and reputation over unconditional love, while Tiny was portrayed as the parent who would fight for her child no matter the circumstances. Social media debates erupted, with thousands expressing opinions, and every move by either parent was scrutinized in real time. Insiders close to the family revealed that tensions had been building for years, while T.I. focused heavily on his career, business ventures, and public persona. Tiny reportedly grew frustrated with what she perceived as a lack of emotional investment in their children. In private conversations, she is said to have expressed disappointment that T.I. often placed appearances above substance, particularly when it came to King. The arrest was the culmination of those frustrations, a symbolic breaking point that illuminated deeper cracks in the marriage. Meanwhile, King himself was reportedly struggling with the fallout. Friends close to him describe him as feeling abandoned, confused, and deeply hurt by his father's reaction. Despite being a young adult, King still looked to both parents for guidance, and T.I.'s public distancing left him without the support he needed during a critical time. Some sources suggest that this emotional strain may have played a role in escalating conflicts within the household, making the divorce filing seem almost inevitable. The legal aspect of the divorce is reportedly complex. Tiny's attorneys have been careful to emphasize not only her desire for fair custody, arrangements, but also the importance of a safe and stable environment for the children. This includes financial security, access to education, and emotional support systems. Court documents suggest that Tiny may also raise concerns about T.I.'s handling of King's arrest, framing it as a lack of parental responsibility that could impact custody decisions. While divorce proceedings in high-profile families are never simple, this case is particularly sensitive because it involves both public perception and private family dynamics. Friends of Tiny say she has been proactive in seeking counseling, both for herself and her children. She reportedly wants to ensure that the emotional trauma caused by the arrest and subsequent family conflicts does not have long-term effects on her children's well-being. In contrast, T.I. has reportedly maintained a more stoic stance, choosing to focus on his career and public appearances rather than publicly addressing the emotional aspects of the situation. This divergence in coping styles has further strained the relationship, leaving Tiny feeling isolated and unsupported. The media frenzy surrounding the divorce has only intensified the situation. Rumors about infidelity, financial disputes, and personal conflicts began circulating almost immediately after the filing. While some claims have been debunked, the constant speculation has made it challenging for both parents to maintain a sense of normalcy for their children. Social media has become a battleground, with fans and critics alike weighing in on every development. Insiders suggest that Tiny is determined to rise above the noise, focusing on what she believes is best for her children, rather than engaging in public spats. In addition to the legal and emotional complexities, there are questions about how this divorce will affect the family's public image. For years, T.I. and Tiny were considered one of the most stable and successful couples in the entertainment industry. Their separation challenges that perception, raising questions about authenticity, loyalty, and the pressures of fame. Industry experts note that the public's fascination with celebrity family drama can exacerbate private conflicts, making it more difficult for the family to resolve issues quietly. Despite the chaos, Tiny is reportedly determined to maintain control over her narrative. Friends close to her describe her as focused, disciplined, and clear-headed, taking deliberate steps to protect her children while asserting her independence. She has reportedly been documenting her interactions with T.I., keeping detailed records for legal purposes, and ensuring that every decision she makes is in the best interest of the children. This level of organization and foresight demonstrates a commitment to not only protecting her family, but also to reclaiming her own sense of agency. Meanwhile, T.I.'s response has been calculated but restrained. He has issued limited statements about accountability, emphasizing the importance of personal responsibility and the role of consequences in shaping character. While some fans interpret this as cold or distant, others argue that he is trying to balance his public persona with private family obligations. The tension between his public image and private life is evident, and navigating this delicate balance will likely continue to pose challenges throughout the divorce proceedings. King's situation continues to be a focal point in the unfolding drama. Sources indicate that he is receiving support from both friends and professional counselors, aiming to address the underlying issues that led to his arrest. The family is reportedly trying to manage the public scrutiny while also prioritizing his rehabilitation and emotional growth. Tiny, in particular, has been vocal about ensuring that King feels loved and supported, despite the conflict with his father. This approach highlights a clear contrast in parenting styles, which has become a central theme in the divorce narrative. As Part 2 unfolds, the complexity of this situation becomes increasingly apparent. It is not merely a story about a divorce. It is a story about family dynamics, parental responsibility, and the consequences of public scrutiny. Tiny's decision to file is a reflection of her values, emphasizing integrity, loyalty, and protection of her children. At the same time, T.I.'s actions and responses illustrate the challenges of balancing personal accountability with public image, especially in the high-stakes environment of celebrity life. The coming months will be critical for both parents, Legal proceedings, custody arrangements, and emotional healing will take center stage. Friends and family members continue to provide support. But the ultimate outcomes will depend on the decisions made within courtrooms and within the family. The scrutiny will remain intense, and every move will be analyzed, debated, and dissected by fans, media, and insiders alike. For Tiny, this is not just a divorce. It is a statement. A statement that she will not compromise her principles or the well-being of her children. For T.I., it is an opportunity to reflect, adapt, and potentially rebuild relationships with his children under a new framework. And for King, it is a pivotal moment that will shape his path forward, with both challenges and opportunities for growth. As part 2 closes, the tension remains high, the stakes are elevated, and the world watches closely. The story of Tiny T.I. and King Harris is far from over, and the next chapter promises to reveal even more about loyalty, family, and the difficult choices that come with navigating both public life and private responsibilities. As the divorce proceedings continue, the family dynamic has shifted dramatically. What was once a united household now feels fractured, with every decision, every comment, and every action weighed under a microscope. Sources close to Tiny say she has embraced a new sense of independence, determined not to let fear, public opinion, or lingering loyalty keep her in a relationship that no longer aligns with her values. She has reportedly been working tirelessly to create stability for her children, ensuring that their routines, schooling, and emotional needs remain consistent despite the upheaval at home. Friends reveal that Tiny has been taking every precaution to shield her children from the worst of the media scrutiny. She reportedly limits their exposure to social media, monitors news coverage, and communicates openly with them about the changes happening in their lives in an age-appropriate way. Insiders note that while the children are understandably affected, Tiny's proactive approach is helping to minimize emotional trauma. She has also been spending more time with extended family and close friends, building a network of support that reinforces her position and protects her children's well-being. Meanwhile, T.I. appears to be navigating his own set of challenges. While he has maintained a relatively quiet public profile, insiders suggest that he is struggling to reconcile his public persona with his role as a father. The fallout from King Harris' arrest continues to dominate conversations around the family, and T.I.'s decision to distance himself from his son has been heavily criticized by both fans and industry observers. Legal experts suggest that this could influence custody negotiations, as the court may consider the emotional support provided by each parent when making determinations about the children's care. The situation has also shed light on the broader issues of accountability, parenting, and family loyalty. Tiny's decision to move forward with the divorce is rooted not only in her response to King's arrest, but also in her commitment to principles she believes should guide any family: unconditional love, support, and open communication. Her actions highlight the tension that can exist when one parent prioritizes public image over private responsibility, particularly in high-profile households. Beyond the family, the media frenzy continues to fuel speculation. Reports of conflicts, disagreements, and past grievances have surfaced, often without confirmation. Social media platforms are filled with debates over who is right or wrong, with some siding with Tiny for her protective stance and others defending T.I. for his emphasis on accountability. Despite the noise, insiders say that both parents are focused on the children, using legal counsel and personal networks to navigate the complex situation as carefully as possible. King Harris himself is reportedly taking steps to address the consequences of his actions. Friends close to him describe him as motivated to turn the situation into a learning experience, seeking counseling, mentorship, and guidance from those he trusts. The family's focus appears to be on ensuring that this pivotal moment leads to growth rather than ongoing conflict. Tiny's advocacy for him, in particular, demonstrates her determination to separate personal grievances from her responsibilities as a mother. Financial considerations also play a significant role in the unfolding drama. Divorce settlements in high-profile families often involve complex negotiations regarding assets, property, and support. Legal insiders indicate that Tiny's legal team is seeking to ensure her financial security while also protecting the interests of her children. This includes arrangements that guarantee access to education, healthcare, and a stable living environment. Independent of ongoing conflicts with TI sources suggest that the couple's business ventures, properties, and investments may be carefully divided to avoid future disputes and ensure transparency in financial matters. Public perception remains a critical element of this narrative. Both Tiny and TI have large devoted fan bases who are closely watching developments. Every public statement, social media post, and interview is scrutinized, amplifying the emotional weight of the divorce. Observers note that managing public perception while navigating a private family crisis is one of the most challenging aspects of celebrity divorces, and it requires a delicate balance of transparency, discretion, and strategic communication. Despite the intensity of the situation, Tiny reportedly remains composed and resolute. Sources close to her describe her as focused, disciplined, and unwavering in her commitment to her children's well-being. She is said to be taking steps to maintain a sense of normalcy, ensuring that her children continue to experience stability, love, and guidance during a time of significant change. Her approach highlights the importance of proactive parenting, emotional intelligence, and strategic planning in navigating both personal and public challenges. TI, on the other hand, is reportedly taking a reflective approach. Friends suggest that he is using this time to evaluate his priorities, relationships, and the role he plays as a father, while some of his actions have been criticized. Others argue that he is navigating an incredibly complex situation under intense public scrutiny. Legal and family advisors reportedly play a significant role in guiding him through decisions that impact both his career and his children's future. As the divorce proceedings move forward, the stakes remain high. Custody arrangements, financial settlements, and emotional well-being are all on the line. Both parents are reportedly working to ensure that their children have access to stability, guidance, and love, even as the marriage dissolves. The public continues to watch, speculate, and debate. But behind closed doors, Tiny and TI are navigating a deeply personal journey that will have long-lasting implications for their family. One of the central themes emerging from this situation is the importance of accountability. Tiny's actions demonstrate a commitment to principles and values, emphasizing the need for parental support, consistency, and protection of children's emotional welfare. TI's response highlights the challenges of balancing discipline, public image, and family obligations. Together, these dynamics paint a complex portrait of a family in transition, illustrating how personal decisions, public scrutiny, and familial responsibilities intersect in high-profile households. Looking ahead, experts predict that the divorce may serve as a turning point for both parents. Tiny appears poised to embrace independence, rebuild her personal identity, and create a stable environment for her children. TI, meanwhile, faces the challenge of reconciling his public persona with his private responsibilities, while also seeking to maintain relationships with his children in a meaningful and supportive way. King Harris' future will likely depend on the guidance and support he receives from both parents, and the family's ability to navigate this tumultuous period with care and intentionality. Ultimately, this story is about more than a divorce. It is a story about family, loyalty, and the consequences of decisions made in the public eye. Tiny's courage in taking decisive action underscores the complexity of maintaining personal integrity while raising children under intense scrutiny. TI's challenges highlight the delicate balance between accountability and empathy, discipline and support. And for King Harris, it is a defining moment that will shape his growth, maturity, and understanding of responsibility. As Part 3 concludes, the focus shifts from conflict to resolution and reflection. While the path forward may be uncertain, The actions of each family member provide insight into the choices, challenges, and opportunities that lie ahead. Tiny's determination to protect her children, T.I.'s efforts to navigate complex responsibilities, and King's journey toward accountability collectively form a story of resilience, growth, and the enduring importance of family values. The next chapter for this family will undoubtedly be filled with challenges, negotiations, and emotional moments. However, it is also a chapter that holds potential for healing, personal growth, and renewed understanding. In the end, the story of Tiny T.I. and King Harris serves as a reminder that even in the most public and high-profile circumstances, the bonds of family, the lessons of accountability, and the pursuit of stability and love remain central to navigating life's most difficult moments. This story of Tiny filing for divorce from T.I. after King Harris' arrest is more than just celebrity drama. It's a powerful reminder of the complexities of family, loyalty, and accountability. While fans watch the public unfoldings, the private realities of parenting, emotional responsibility, and personal values are often far more intense than what appears online. Tiny's decision to take action highlights the courage it takes to protect one's children and stand firm in personal principles. Even when faced with fame, public scrutiny, and the pressures of a high-profile marriage, for anyone following this story, it's important to remember that behind every headline are real people dealing with real emotions. The way Tiny is navigating her divorce, prioritizing her children's well-being, maintaining her own independence provides valuable lessons in resilience, self-respect, and intentional decision-making. Meanwhile, T.I.'s journey underscores the challenges of balancing discipline, accountability, and public image, reminding us that parenting in the spotlight brings unique pressures and responsibilities. As this family works through custody arrangements, emotional healing, and the path toward stability, one thing is clear: the story is far from over. Fans and observers alike will continue to watch closely, hoping for resolution, growth, and understanding for everyone involved. Stay tuned for every update, every development, and every twist in this unfolding story. The journey of Tiny T.I. and King Harris serves as a reminder that even in the most public and high-profile circumstances, family, values, and emotional responsibility remain at the center of every decision. Keep following to see how this story continues to evolve.